Hello, good evening, and welcome to Off Track Small Talk. Tonight, I'm going to be chatting to a driver who has had more views on YouTube than anybody else I know. That is 45 Nigel Harrhy. Evening, Nigel. You all right?
Good evening, Jonathan. Nice to see you.
All good?
Yep.
So you've made it now. You've got a feature on BSCDA TV. This is it. This is the pinnacle.
Been waiting for this a long time.
So these small talk episodes tend to focus on new or refurbished cars, and this episode absolutely follows the same thread. As tonight, Nigel, we're going to reveal your purchase of a pretty famous car. It's good.
Yeah.
It's very exciting.
Yeah, I was going to do it on my blog last Sunday, and then Jake said, before you do it, ask Jonathan if he wants to do it. Of course, I spoke to you last week, and you said, yeah, there's no racing next weekend. Yeah, save it and send it to us. So that's why we're talking now. That's how.
And here we are on a rainy Wednesday evening.
Yep.
I think it's pretty exciting. But before we get to the car, so I always think about you as being relatively new to Formula One, but you're not. We're 13 years in.
Yeah, it's weird, isn't it? Yeah, I still feel like I'm a newbie as well. Yeah, exactly. But obviously, when you go to a meeting, you've got Paul Harrison and Frankie Wayman there, and all these guys have been around for 30 years or more. You know, I still feel like the new boy. But actually, it was Sam Wayman that said to me actually one day. She said she was very nice comment. She said, you know, you were part of the fixtures. So that was a very nice thing for her to say. And of course, there's lots of new people coming and going all the time. So yeah, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah, so you've been around a while. I think that's good, and great, lovely comment off Sam. In terms of your background, obviously it was Speedway. Stock cars was a whole new world. But did you know anything about them before you sort of jumped in at the deep end and purchased that car?
Nothing. No, absolutely nothing. I rode motocross as a kid, and then I did a bit of speedway when I was 18. Then I did grass track when I was like 21, 22, 23. So I did about 10 years on bikes. And knew nothing about stock cars. I just thought stock cars was at Coventry, and I would maybe go once a year to Coventry to go and watch the stock cars. I didn't know the format of the whites, yellows, blues, and reds. Didn't understand how the racing worked. You know, you're watching crashing effectively. You know, a lot of noise, and a lot of big wings, and big crowds, and big races. But I didn't really understand. I knew Willie Harrison, number 2, Willie Harrison. That's all I knew. I'd go once a year and look out for Willie Harrison because he was like the most recognisable to me. So I didn't know who Stuart Smith was, or all the famous people now, like Frankie Wayman Sr. and so on. So no, I didn't know anybody. I didn't know anything about it, and no, didn't know anything, nothing at all.
It's brilliant. It's brilliant. And I mean, Formula One stock cars, they are a complex beast from setup to repairs. Over your career, and not coming from a stock car background, that makes it quite difficult, I guess. Has a lot of it been self-taught, or have you kind of had to go and outsource lots of stuff or learn from others? How's it been? What's the sort of split been like?
Well, I bought my first car as an FWJ car. I went online and there was about 10 cars for sale at the time. So there was a lot of choice. So I did some research, put some questions on Stuxnet and asked about going and buy a car. And people were saying buy a small block, buy an FWJ car or well-known, well-built car so I can get spares easily. And when I spoke to Frankie at a meeting and said I've found a car, he said, yeah, it's a good car, pal, you know, as he does. And the rest is history. When I bought the car, and I've still got the engine now. That's the engine that's in my car to this day. I've still got that engine. It's been rebuilt a couple of times. It's triggers boom, that engine is. But it's still got the same engine. And in fact, I actually bought the car back last year because I got a brand new engine and gearbox in it. So I bought my own car back last year, and that engine and gearbox is now in Jake's tarmac car. So that's how I started. That's how I started, just by doing some research online.
But in terms of like like people talk about setup. Setup is key in Formula One. So is that just kind of trial and error on your part? Because I mean, drivers kind of, I guess, are a bit more.
No, nothing at all. My very first meeting, my clutch went, and someone said, go and speak to Murray Harrison. I'm like walking around the pits. Can someone tell me who Murray Harrison is or where he is? When I found Murray, and Murray said to Ryan was only young, 16, 17, 18 maybe at the time. He said to Ryan, go and change his clutch for him. And Ryan came and changed my clutch. And so I still blame Ryan and Murray to this day while I'm still here all these years later, 14 years later. It was their fault. But they helped me that night, and they took the car away after the meeting, and they told me some setups. And I think I'll give the car to Mark Gilbank the following year, and Mark helped me because I was racing it on both surfaces. So yeah, lots of people. Everyone helps. Everyone I've spoke to has always helped. So you learn as you go along. And I put questions on Stuxnet, and people said to me, measure everything. But I don't know what to measure. What do you measure? You know what I mean? I know now what to measure. But weight's the most important, of course.
Yeah.
But I didn't have a clue what to do. No, you learn as you go along.
Yeah. So when I spoke to Frank,
really,
yeah,
as you go along.
yeah, absolutely. When I spoke to Frank Creamer Jr. at the NEC, he got his new shell car there, and he was talking about it could change all this, that in terms of suspension. I'm going, but surely you must know what you need to do. And he's kind of going, no, you don't. It always changes. It's always different.
I noticed that it's got different suspension mounts on that new car.
Yeah.
And if Frankie doesn't know, it's weird, isn't it? I saw that it got different suspension mounts on his axles there, so he could try different things, couldn't he, on the car? But
so we're all still learning.
He went out and won, didn't he, first meeting? So well done.
Absolutely, absolutely. Mildenhall, he did,
Yeah.
he did. So you know that Coventry Christmas meeting, so debut 2010. Did you ever envisage it would become such a huge part of yours and your family's life, stock car racing? Because it has, it's become massive.
No, not at all. It's amazing, isn't it? Yeah, it really, really is amazing. Just, I rode bikes for 10 years and then I started a family and bought a house. So I actually I did 20 years match fishing. And then I thought, if ever I'm going to have a go at stock cars, coincidentally, I was 45 years old when I started. It's a coincidence because that was also my race number when I was a schoolboy motocrosser, so that's why I got number 45. But I was 45 years old, and I thought it's now or never. I could afford it. I was at that age where I could afford it, and it was basically now or never. Buy a car and have a go now. And no, I never realised for 1 minute it would take over my life, and like I say, it has done. And Jake,
yeah,
and the family, all of us.
Yeah, you're all involved, absolutely. And I mean, I think, and equally like, we came to yours for the Let's Fence Cancer do, your wonderful venue. And it's become all encompassing, hasn't it?
Yeah, we nearly did a double act there. We should have done, shouldn't we?
We should have done. We'd have been very good, Nigel. This could be the prep for next year. We could.
Yeah.
See, we can't go any further without talking about your internet fame. And absolutely, you are famous on the internet. It's something that's kind of gathered momentum over time, I guess.
It's a small pond.
Yeah, absolutely. But it has. There's huge positives with putting stuff out there on the internet. But I'm guessing there's negatives that come with that as well. Is that fair?
For me, no.
No?
I don't get negatives at all, no, all positive. No, I wouldn't be continuing to do blogs and writing on Stocksnet or on the internet if I thought there was any negativity at all. No, none whatsoever.
Okay. So when you put something out there and you've watched it back, you document the highs and lows of stock car racing, warts and all, have you ever sort of watched something back and gone, I shouldn't have said that? Or have you been quite happy with what you put out there?
No, I use iMovie and I watch it through iMovie before I put it on YouTube. So yeah, if I don't like something, if I said something wrong, I can just shorten it and then just delete that piece. So no, I haven't really. But yeah, a few times I've mentioned something. I thought, oh, perhaps I shouldn't mention, especially cost. I did a blog on cost last year, and I got a phone call off a committee member asking me to take it down like the following day. So I did. Yeah, I don't want to offend anybody. Just talked about sponsorship and what I paid for buying cars and engines, and I think I offended somebody, so I took it down.
Yeah. Do you want to get Jenny to be like your editor, producer? She could sense check it for you.
Yeah, I know. If I showed Jake, so for example, if I showed Jake my video before I put it online, Jake wouldn't allow any of it. He would say no. And you notice nowadays Jake's even not in a lot of the videos. Because every time I pick the phone up, he says, "Don't do it, Dad. Put the phone down." Oh, whatever. So yeah, no. If I asked Jenny or Jake, they would say no. So yeah, I sit in the private room. I edit it in private and then put it on YouTube on Sunday morning.
Yeah, and everybody very much enjoys it, so it's great.
I enjoy doing it. That's why I enjoy doing it. Actually, I spoke to Andy Smith this week. Andy Smith's doing blogs now, isn't he, on the girls?
Yes.
And he's doing really long blogs. And he's really enjoying doing it. You can see he's clearly enjoying doing it by the way he's writing. And that's how I started. That's how I started doing blogs.
Do you ever go back and watch some stuff that you did ages ago? Do you ever kind of go back and rewatch them?
No. And I watched the coach build a few times. I like my coach build. That was good. Jake's there's something like 500,000 views on that on Facebook. I think there's only about 11,000 on YouTube, but lots and lots of views on that because I think it's gone around the world through coach sites.
Yeah.
But yeah, I do enjoy watching that one. I've watched that one a few times.
Good. So you've documented your highs and lows. So I guess best and worst moment in Formula One today. So if you had to pick your best moment and your worst moment.
That's easy. Okay. They were both within 5 minutes of each other. The easiest question ever, that one is, because I won the final at Hensford and then got disqualified. So the highest and the lowest within minutes of each other, because I went away in tears. I was distraught, really, really distraught. In fact, when you said last week we were going to do this tonight, that's why I did that story last week on Henderson.
Yes.
But yeah, I desperately wanted to win a final. I've been close a couple of times. I led the final for 19 and a half laps at Ipswich once, and Frankie and Will Yarrow got me last lap, and I got Will back on the last bend when his diff went. But I led that one for 19 and a half laps, and then of course got disqualified. I led the final the other week at Kings Lane, and it gives you so much encouragement and enthusiasm when you win a race or lead a race. Yeah, so. My biggest ambitions or my biggest achievements, making red, even though it was only for half a season, and making a world final. And that world final was at Coventry, so that was the most important one. Yeah. So there
was that until your fourth, fifth year race in the world final appearance?
2014, yeah. So 2011 was my first full season, first full season, yeah. But I was so enthusiastic, to do all the meetings and all the tarmac and I had 2 cars, and I was so enthusiastic then. And as the years have gone by, I got less enthusiastic. I'm not so bothered now. I do it for fun. Put my efforts into Jake mainly the last couple of years, because Jake broke his wrist last year, and this year he broke his thumb. So that's why I went and raced last week at Kings Lane, and then I went to Northampton. Done a couple of meetings myself. I could go and race his tarmac car, of course, but I'm not interested in tarmac. I don't want it.
Skegness was a very good meeting though, Nigel. It was a very good weekend.
I saw some of the races that looked fantastic. Interestingly, Jonathan, it was wet, wasn't it? Damp track. Wet, damp track. That's what we should do. We need an irrigation system. We need Buster there with his crop sprayer to water the track halfway through the race. Not when we're on wave yellows like he does at Kings Lynn. Go and water it. That World Final last year was fantastic, wasn't it? When it was damp, it was a brilliant race. I loved it.
Yeah, no, it was very good racing. So, I mean, Saturday night was some of the best stock cars I've seen for a while, to be fair. So very good.
When Danny when we got national, it looked fantastic.
Yeah, it was. Right, okay. So, you say you're racing for fun. However, let's talk about your new purchase.
Yeah, well, I'm trying to give up, to be honest. I'm trying to give up. I'm trying to retire. But Jenny reckons I packed up smoking 17 times before I eventually packed up for smoking, because it was hard work. And it's impossible to pack up racing stock cars. It's harder than packing up smoking. So I sort of want to do less. But on the other hand, I've had my car for 10 years now, and I feel like if I'm going to have one more last good go, I'm just going to buy another car. A car's come on the market, and I've been and bought it. Just a snap decision, really. Let's buy it. Let's try it. Nothing to lose. Nothing to lose.
Okay, so let's see now the car that you've bought. That is a pretty famous car from the stock car circles, that.
It is, yeah. It's originally Ryan Harrison's car. Ryan and Murray bought out a pair of sister cars at the same time. Not sure what year it was, but I remember the 2 cars coming out. And then Nigel Green went and bought that car. And then Callum Gill bought the car. Of course, Callum Gill's bought Ryan's current car as well. So Callum put that car on the market and sold it, put it on the open market, and I've been and bought it. So I rang Nigel Green, actually. I rang Nigel, and he said he won. I think he said something about he was well known for tarmac racing, but he said he'd won 7 finals on tarmac, but 8 on shale. So he said he'd actually won more finals in that car than in his tarmac car. So that was, and he said how good it was. That's all I needed to know, really. I knew how good it was anyway. So
did he not think about buying it back?
He's got 2 cars. I was at his workshop last week, actually. And I should have done a video while I was there. I was a bit cross with myself. I didn't do it. But he's got 2 cars sitting there. He's got 2 cars that are half built. So he's not interested in buying old cars. He's been building these new cars for, I don't know, 3 or 4 years. I think now he's been building them, hasn't he? So I think he'd have been cross if
you'd have videoed that. I think he'd have been a bit cross if you'd have put that on the internet, Nigel.
Yeah, that's what I didn't mention. That's why I didn't do it. But if I want to order a car, if you want to order a car of Tom or Matt or Lee or Stuart or Frankie or any of the car builders, Mark Gilbank building cars, there's a lot of car builders, you've got to build it, order it for the following year. You've really got to think a year ahead. When we bought Jake's car off Stuart, we saw Skegness Skegness one year, and we ordered it for that Christmas for the following season. You've got to be thinking for the following season. You know, look at the blog, the one you did last week with Finn. You know, he spent a year and a half building that car.
Yeah.
So it's a long process to build a new car. This was just a snap decision. Cars come on the market. I'm like, well, that looks nice, and been and bought it. Simple as that.
So you say it's a snap decision, but I mean, it has been for sale for a while. Was it literally like a couple of days thinking about it, or did you think about it for a period of time and sort of converse with Jake?
I'll tell you exactly what happened, because it was I saw it for sale, and I thought, oh, that's nice, that's nice. I did look at it for a couple of days, and all of a sudden it had gone. And I was really cross myself. Oh no, I wish I'd bring him up there. Then he popped back up again. I saw it again for sale the following day. So that made me go and ring him, you know. So I rang him and did a bit of a deal over the phone, and went over on the Sunday morning and went with a trailer and picked it up.
Perfect. So I know you are saying, like, yeah, I am racing for fun, the focus on Jake, but this is quite a serious acquisition, though, Nigel. Do you know what I mean? This is a very quick car that you've bought. Yeah,
but Jonathan, I'm 58 next month, so I'm getting towards the end of my career. So it's like now or never, and it's one last chance. It's one last big go, really, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's one. But the car. I forgot to say, the car's actually going back to Ryan next week. The car's got the engine and gearbox in it now. All the wheels in it, axles in it. It's all complete, as the pictures you've just seen. Just a few little bits and pieces like seat belts have got to go in, bits and pieces like that. I rang Ryan today, and Ryan's going to have the car back next week for a couple of days just to set it up.
But to be fair, though, you know, when sort of Paul Harrison made that purchase off Lee Fairhurst, Michael Stewart, the tarmac car, you know, he, end of his career, kind of come towards the end of his career, but he was saying he wanted a decent car to have a go in, you know what I mean? And so it's a similar sort of thing for yourself, then.
Exactly the same thing, yeah, exactly the same thing. And Jake's not done much last year and this year, has he, either? So we've sort of lost our mojo a little bit. Yeah. So I've not had a new car for 10 years. Yeah. So why not?
Yeah. Why not, Nigel? Why not? You made world final, like you said. You made Red Roof. Are you kind of going, I'd really like to achieve this in the sport? Is there anything you've kind of just set your heart on a little bit before you do eventually have the
no doubt about this. I've always spoke to your dad about this. I've told your dad the truth. I've told your dad, if I'm going to win a final, I'm going to go to Rostrum and retire on the Rostrum. I've told him that. I'm going to go and see the flag marks and ask him if I can start the Grand National, because that's it, I'm retiring. And your dad said he's going to dock me 2 places. He said, I'll dock you. Well, you'll fail on scales. You're not going to win it. So you're not going to pack up. But yeah, that's my ambition. No doubt about that. I want to win a final. That's why I'm still doing it. It does give you motivation to do it. I want to win another race as well, because I've won 14 races, and this is my 14th year. So I didn't win one last year, so I need to win a race tonight this year.
Yeah. But you say that in jest, and maybe there's a bit of seriousness too. But what happens if debut meeting for this car, you do win the final? What are you going to do?
I know, I thought that. I thought, what am I going to do if I go and win the final on Saturday night, next Saturday night? I don't know. Because then you'd be like, oh, I could be world champion. I could keep going. I could be champion. I could get the Milton or be the European champion. You know what I mean? So yeah, it'd be in the back of your mind, wouldn't it? I'd probably retire for a week and come back one other week.
Yeah.
I'm booking for the European. So yeah, who knows?
Yeah.
I don't know. That's what I'm saying for myself.
But no, like you say, it's right, because if that final win is still kind of niggling away at you, and it's kind of, what if, and actually this gives you the chance to kind of do it, then why not?
Exactly. I've got nothing to lose, have I? Nothing to lose. It's only money at the end of the day, and we've spent me and Jake have put a lot of hours on it. It seems easy swapping my engine into another car, but nothing fits. Absolutely nothing fits. The bell housing took us hours. The pedals took us 8 hours. Moving the pedals from the right to left. Honestly, it was hours and hours and hours. So it seems like a simple, easy engine change, but it's not really. And fitting the back axle. So it should have been. God, I wouldn't want to build a car from scratch. Damn, yeah. Such a lot of work. We're doing it.
Yeah. But I think that's what people don't. I mean, we try and sort of articulate it. I think when we speak to people like Frank and last week with Finn, but it's like those little fiddly jobs that take hours and hours and hours, and you just kind of. You've done a week, and you can't really see what you've done, and it's
yeah. You wouldn't believe I spent 8 hours swapping the pedal over from one side to the other. But you have to lengthen all the pipes. The pedal didn't fit, so I spoke to Matt, because Matt worked on the car as well, to see if Matt had got the pedal, and he looked, he said he hadn't got it. And I spoke to Callum again, and Callum couldn't find it. I had to make the right hand pedal fit. Oh, just long story. It's just because I'm
But it's stock cars. You love it.
stock
You
car.
love it, Nigel.
Yeah, Rob Harrod said there's nothing stock about a stock car. He's absolutely right.
Just looking at the season, you've kind of alluded to it already. It has been a bit of a stop-start one for you, hasn't it? You know, you kind of set off in way back in March, and you all ready to go, already prepared, and it's kind of not really got going for the pair of you, for you or Jake.
We had a nightmare because Jake's raced that car for the last 2 years, his Stuart Smith car, and all of a sudden we went out this year and he broke the torque arm. So we put a stronger one on for the following week, and he broke it again, and then we broke it again for the third week. So with the first 3 meetings, and I was racing as well, Jake just didn't get going. So I said, right, that's it. I'm not going to race for a couple of weeks. Let's get the torque arm started. And Tom Harris made us a different one out of different material, and it put it right. And Chris Cowler came out and just went through the axles with us, all the measurements, and helped us. And it put the car right. So Jake's car's all right. And then, of course, Jake went and broke his thumb at King's Lynn when I ran into him. So, you know, just clipped his front wheel and it whipped his steering wheel around and broke his thumb. So people say, why don't you put plastic in? But you can't do it with an F1 because most of the time with an F1, you're looking through the steering wheel.
Yes.
Especially these Ryan cars that you're sitting down low and you're looking through the steering wheel. I sat in Paul Orange's car and the steering wheel's above your head, you know, you're looking right through it. Yeah. So you couldn't put plastic.
But you know that bit at King's Lynn? I mean, I saw that. It looked very innocuous. It didn't look anything. You see.
It was nothing. No, absolutely nothing, Jonathan. But it's an open wheel field formula. It got his wheel round a little bit. It's clipped his front wheel. It must have whipped his steering wheel and broke his thumb. In fact, he's been to hospital today again for more X-rays, and they put him in a splint now. So he's got to go back again in a couple of weeks. So he's not going to race again for another couple of weeks.
Yeah.
So it's not a bit
No, absolutely not. It needs to be right. So in terms of you bringing this car out, obviously it's going to Ryan to be set up and stuff. So when is your plan to debut it?
Next Saturday, King's Lynn.
Okay, perfect.
This weekend, of course, they're racing this weekend. I think you said you're going to put this out on Saturday night. So we saw when the fixture list came out, and I think it was out early this year, wasn't it, at the show? This fixture list. So straight away we looked at the Speedway fixture list because that's our other interest. And the Speedway this weekend is in Poland, in Warsaw. So because there's no racing, we're going to go to Warsaw to watch the Speedway. But then what's happened, because Jenny and Jake are into football, commentary have now made the playoffs.
Right.
So we're flying back Sunday lunchtime. We're going out Friday morning, coming back Sunday lunchtime. We're meeting friends over there. But now all of a sudden they're playing at Coventry on Sunday. So now we've changed flights, or rather we've bought more flights to fly back in the middle of the night on Saturday. So we get back Sunday morning so they can all go and watch football on Sunday. So, and also we're flying back to different airports. So we've got to drive to Luton, leave our car in Luton, and get a coach from Luton to Stansted to fly to Poland.
It sounds very complicated.
I'd rather stock car racing than do this.
Absolutely. Well, I'm sure it'll be a fantastic weekend, if not a very busy one. Nigel, before I let you go, you know, you clearly are very passionate about stock cars, and you do have strong opinions on Formula One. There's lots of debate out there at the moment around how the sport potentially needs to change or evolve. Do you have a view on any changes that need to be made at the moment, or you know, where's your head at with it all?
Yeah, actually, Steve Reese phoned me the other week actually and asked me my opinion, and I think we should. I don't like that the cars are getting further apart. I think the cars should be getting closer together. The shale and tarmac cars, I mean, of course, the tyres are different on every corner. I think I've got 200 or 300 used rally tyres in my yard, plus the American races, and then somehow I'm using the old tyres because that's it. That's the expense of the tyres. Diesel, we can't do anything about the cost of diesel. To travel to the meeting, that's expensive, of course. So we need to try and keep the cost down. I believe the cars should be closer together. I believe whether that's going to bring the cost down or not, I don't know anyway. But they don't want to get any further apart, do they? You know,
no.
Tom is just so fast. The racing cars on tarmac are fast, aren't they? So look at Buxton last week at Chengness. They were wet and damp, and they'd have been just as quick in the shale car. Yeah. When it's damp, they put the shale tyres on anyway. So why don't we just go down that route? I think we should be on rally tyres.
So because we've got the trial, well, we've had the trial going on where they've been putting the rally tyre on the inside rear again to see if that will kind of make a difference. Because the idea being that you can use used rally tyres that you've had on shale and put them onto tarmac, and you get another kind of life out of them. Is that kind of something that you think is the right way to go?
Look at what Matt Newson's been saying. Matt's been saying, you know, it's cost him nothing. I spoke to Matt the other week about his first couple of tarmacs. He said he struggled a little bit because he wasn't running no tyres, but it wasn't championship meetings. He wasn't bothered, but it cost him nothing. That's what he was saying. It cost him absolutely nothing to do them tarmac meetings because he was using his shale tyres, and that's what the sport should be.
Yeah.
That we could use our own tyres.
Yeah, and I suppose the adverse to that is that, like, you've got guys that just solely race on tarmac. There's quite a lot, isn't there, that just do tarmac, and it's the market where, well, how are they going to source their advertising? It's not as simple as them just going to go, well, I've got them that I use on shell, because they haven't used them on shell. So I suppose it's how do they kind of fit into that?
Well, at the moment, we've got a choice, haven't we? At the moment, we can use the American race, or we can use the rally tyre, and that's how it needs to be. It needs to be that way. So I think we should have rally tyres on the front. I don't think it would make any difference at all. God, by getting rid of the American race front tyres, none whatsoever. It would just save 180 quid for that front right tyre. The American race back tyre is 180 quid, but a second-hand rally tyre is 50 quid. You know, I know some people could go and buy a new tyre, a new rally tyre at 325 quid and buff it down. That's their choice if they want to do that. You know, you're not going to beat Tom and Ryan and Lee anyway. They're so fast on tarmac. Frankie's so fast on tarmac. You know, some of these guys, it's natural ability. Whatever the rules are, you won't stop the guys with natural ability because they're just so good. I wish I had half. I spoke to Charlie Order. I wish I had half his natural ability. Charlie's been fantastic. Look at him. He's 21. He's world champion. Fair play to the kid. Brilliant. I love Charlie. He's brilliant for the sport.
Yeah, but I think, but you're right there, and I think it's maybe a point that's sometimes missed. That yes, absolutely, the guys like Tom and Lee and Frank have got good cars, but they have got this innate ability to drive a stock car very quickly around a stock car track, and it isn't about just driving fast on your own. It's racing in a stock car race, which is very different to just going around on your own, isn't it?
Well, I've been in the sport. This is my 14th year, and I've been to the AGM every year because I don't believe you can moan about the rules unless you go to the AGM. And I've seen rule changes over and over again with calipers and pads and tyres and so on. And weights, and it doesn't make any difference. We bring in the shockers, we bring in the brake pads, we bring in the MSD boxes. It's made no difference whatsoever. It doesn't make any difference to them. The superstars are the superstars because they're the best. No matter what rules you bring, it just costs us loads more money. I bought in the MSD boxes. It cost me £1,000 for 3 MSD boxes for no reason, reason whatsoever. None whatsoever. So I don't like the rules. 80 or 90 quid brake pads, we should be using 25 quid brake pads. You know, if we're all on the same, if they're rubbish, there's rubbish for all of us. Yeah. But 25 quid brake pads are what you put in your road car. So it's good enough for a road car, they're good enough for a stock car.
Good. No, I know you're passionate about it, and I know you talk about it a lot. I just thought I'd kind of get your view on kind of where we're at.
I don't want to get political either. I don't want to get political. I don't want to moan about it. I've run fishing tournaments and every sport I've been involved with over the years, be it golf or fishing or shooting, I've always ended up on a committee. And I said with this sport, I'm not going to end up on a committee. I'm not going to do that. I don't want to do that. So I'm not going to moan. I'm not going to moan. I'd like to help rather than moan. I don't want to moan about it.
Yeah, no, good. That's good, Nigel. I like that positivity. Right, listen, it's been absolutely lovely talking to you this evening. Thank you for taking time out for a chat and to share with us your new purchase. Good luck with it at Kings Lynn. And I'm
going to do well. I'll make a fool of myself. Really. I don't care. It doesn't matter, does it?
Well, yeah. but the thing is, though, you've always had like kind of quite decent cars. You know what I mean, with a bit of pedigree. So I suppose it's not too different from what you bought in the past. And but I mean.
Yeah, absolutely. All my cars have been, my Andy Smith car that Jake's using now is a tarmac car. That came with a gold roof on it. The Stuart Smith car that I'm going to put up for sale next week, it didn't have a gold roof on it when I bought it, but it won the World Championship at 2007 at Kings Lynn. And of course, the brand new Stuart Smith shell car of Jake's is built by Stuart Smith, former 2 times world champion. So yeah, we've got 4 good cars. Yeah, I'm going to sell one of them. I'm going to sell that Stuart Smith car. I've offered it to Stuart. Stuart says it's not for him right at the moment. But Stuart asked me to give him first refusal. So
okay. Lovely. Nigel, thanks so much and good luck with it. Thank you.
Cheers. Thank you. Good night.